Welcome to the NiFTy Chicks, and welcome to our Back to Basics series. In this episode, we'll be sharing some key things we personally look for in an NFT project. Let's do this. Welcome to the NiFTy Chicks. Hi, Mindy Sal. How are you?
Hi, NFTy. I'm good. How are you?
I am good. Not too shabby. Really not too shabby. I'm a little tired, actually. I didn't sleep super well last night, but who wants to hear about that?
I know. Well, I actually am too because we got awoken to a sledgehammer, whatever, outside our front door because they're tearing up our. So I'm glad that we were able to record this together because we were a little bit concerned we wouldn't be able to.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
We're making it happen.
So I'm excited for this conversation. I think that we are very similar in what we look for when we're looking at NFT projects. But I'm excited to kind of go through this list and, hear more of what you're actually looking at, and I'll share what I look for too.
Yeah, I think one of the realities when I stepped into the space is I went on to OpenSea and I was like, holy moly, I have a ton of options. Like, gosh, the world is my oyster. What do I want to buy? And they obviously price was a limitation there.
Right. I was going to say,
outside of that, there's so many things. So I'm like, oh my gosh, where do I even start? How do I know what I want to look for? And so I think this is going to be super helpful for anybody kind of stepping into the space of the types of things that we look for in an NFT project. Doesn't mean that we're right, doesn't mean that we're wrong. Right. But it's just some things that we're looking for to actually click that buy button, because it's a very I remember minting my very first NFT, and it was a project that I really did no research on. I still have it. It's worthless. But
funny.
I just had enough thing. I was like, okay, I don't know what I'm really looking for. And obviously it was not such a great investment. But so I'm excited to kind of go over this and help anyone who's a little overwhelmed by the amount of NFT options that they can purchase when they first stepped in.
And there is, oh my gosh. I mean, just from like when NFTs first started to now, every day it's like there's so many new projects popping up. You really need to think about what it is you want to buy and what you want to keep, especially if you're like me and you hodl everything and you're not, out there flipping your NFTs.
Yeah. I mean, if I had disposable income and endless funds, I would go on a shopping spree all the time and just buy stuff that looks interesting, but I don't. So I need to be very thoughtful about what I'm investing in. Every dollar to me counts. So I want to be very strategic. So I had a checklist of my own when I kind of, after that very first minting mistake I made, I was like, oh, maybe I should create a checklist of like things that I want to be investing in, or like what I should be looking for. So I created a list, and I've been kind of following that ever since, and I've been pretty happy with my purchases. But so let's dive in, shall we?
Yeah. Okay. So what is your number one thing?
Okay. So
what is the top priority for you?
So the top priority for me is, and it's actually, I'm not quite sure we specified this on the exact list that we have, so I'm going to add this here, is mission. I want to know what the mission of the project is, why someone created it, why the artist created it. If there's not a good why, I'm probably not going to be sold, and I'm probably not going to care. So I really want to know what the mission is behind the project.
That's interesting. Mine is not, that's not number one for me. That would be further down the list. I mean, it's on the list. It's just not my number one thing.
Yeah. To me,
you want to know why?
Yeah. Why?
My number one is art. Like, I have to like the art. If I don't like it, then I don't really want it. And I can't tell you that. I think it's part of why in the beginning, like, I didn't mint a lot of things, because if I was minting, I would sometimes get things I didn't like. And then I'd be disappointed that I pulled something that I personally didn't actually like the image.
Yeah. So, interesting that you have that as your number one. That's probably number 3 or 4 on my list. And the reason for that is, I I first care about mission, but one of the other things that I care about is whether I'm going to make money. Like I said, I
Right.
don't have disposable funds, so it's important to me that I am not losing money everywhere in the NFT space. So um, if I know of a project has enough reasons for it to be profitable, I will invest in it regardless of what it looks like. And that's why I have some ugly projects in my
It's so
wallet right
funny.
now.
And I definitely have some. I mean, I guess, yeah, they're kind of ugly, but
Yeah.
I'm not saying which ones I feel that way about.
No,
Um,
it's not.
but I'm like looking at my wallet over here and I'm seeing some stuff that I'm like, yeah, that's ugly. That's ugly. But some of them agreed. Um, it definitely, I mean, mission is part of it. Utility is part of it. Community is part of it. I mean, all these things, that we're going to talk about. But for me, honestly, it comes down to number one is art because,
Yeah.
and we've talked about this before, but it's got to be something that I like. And I mean, let's just say NFTs go to shit and like they all end up being worthless eventually,
Mhm.
then at least I've got something I like. Like I'm happy. I mean, I love that chick. I will never get rid of her. Like I will
No,
hodl
she's
her till
awesome.
the end. I don't care. Um, like my Wow Galaxy, you can't see her all the way, but I
Yeah.
I love her too. Like there's some of them that I'm just like, oh my God, I love that gal. I love that chick. I love that art. I will never get rid of it no matter what.
Yeah.
Then there's
Well,
others, like for example, I minted um on you from my BFF and I got a blonde-haired girl that I was just kind of like about. And I
what?
think
Do you have something
I
against blondes? Come on.
no, I love blondes. I just didn't want a blonde. I wanted a brunette
Yeah,
because
of course, of course.
we've talked about this. Like we tend to gravitate towards things that look like us. And
Yes,
I wanted a brunette. So guess what I did? I went shopping and I found myself a little brunette you and I picked her up.
I love it. Yeah,
Because
yeah.
and I mean I haven't sold my other blonde. I'm kind of waiting for the markets to come back. I'm just hodling her until I feel the need, or maybe you'll like her and I can sell her to you.
Yeah,
But,
you may have a buyer
you
right
know,
here.
right?
Yeah,
But I mean,
that's
that's
good.
that's part of it is I gotta like the art.
Yeah, I don't blame you for putting that number 1 because I have minted NFTs where I didn't like the art, but I thought it was gonna go somewhere, so I invested in them. They went to 0 or very close to 0, and now I'm stuck with these NFTs that are ugly, and I can't sell them. I've tried to sell them, for near to nothing, and I can't. So, I am stuck because I don't prioritize art above everything else. I am now stuck with some NFTs that I just really don't like the art. So
Right, right.
you hopefully, if with art as being your number 1, you hopefully will be won't have a collection of ugly looking NFTs.
Well, I mean, like I said, I do. And honestly, that's part of the I guess the fun of minting
Mm,
is because when you mint, then you also have the possibility of getting a rare or a one of one
mhm.
or something, that could potentially be worth a lot more than the mint price.
Yeah,
And so it's just kind of the chance you take. It's a little bit like, playing the lottery or gambling.
yeah,
You may end up with something you don't like that could be worth a lot.
that's right. Yeah. So what's your number 2? What do you look for after art?
So I think from there it's not necessarily in order, but I think like for me, mission, roadmap, community are all kind of like they're interchangeable
Yeah.
because like you said, I mean the mission of the company, I have to believe in the mission, but then also the team, I like seeing that a team is docs so we know who they are and they're not hiding behind their avatars or whatever. There's too many I've seen too many rug pulls happen, so I like to know that there's a solid team that's got a plan and a roadmap that they plan to implement, and they've got a strong community behind them. So I feel
Okay.
like those are all
Mhm.
kind of interchangeable and go together.
Yeah, okay. That totally makes sense. I feel a little differently. I prioritize as my number 2 community specifically.
Okay.
I mean,
Hmm.
yes, all these other things are very important, but to me, it's what is the mission behind the project, and then next, what does the community look like? And I have been part of so many communities on Discord specifically, where the energy of the community is just like FUD, fear, uncertainty,
Mm.
and doubt, or just like negative community members, and there's no control over those community members, and
Mm.
there's nothing better. Like, life is tough, okay? We're surrounded by lots of negative things in life that, like, the last thing I want to do is go into my web 3 world and experience the same thing. Like, I want web
Right.
3 to be a positive place for me. I want it to be, mental health is important to me, and so I want to know that the community is positive, uplifting, empowering. And so when I get into a community of a project and I see the vibe of the community being positive and, like I said, uplifting and empowering, I just gravitate towards it. I'm like, yes, I want more of this in my life. And then I just get
Right.
hooked. So community to me
Yeah.
is super important in whether I'm going to be investing in the project. And luckily I've started to figure out what it looks like in my mind for it to have a good community. And so I'm starting to really narrow down into the projects that I really like the community with. But yeah, that to me is super important. That's my number 2.
I like it. I just want to add to that because I 100% agree. And one of the things that I've been seeing a lot, especially in the recent markets, because everything's been down. We're recording this on May 17th, 2022. And everybody knows, like, things have not been great in crypto and NFTs. We are just seeing a downward market and all that. And a lot of people recently, because of what happened with Luna and Luna Terra and the crash of that, crypto, people have been losing like their life savings. And one of the things I've seen is like some of the communities are like either they're sending emails, they're posting in their discords, they're like, we are here to help you. Like we if you don't have somebody to talk to, then reach out to us
Mhm.
and we will help you with whatever it is you're facing right now. And I love seeing that. So I
Yeah.
definitely 100% agree with that. And I love that there are so many amazing communities that you know do that.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's unlike anything I've ever experienced. I've never been part of a group where it's like everyone is there for each other, everyone has their back. And of course, that's not the case in all projects. You will get into some project
Right.
discords, and it is, like I said, a not a great environment. But it's a like 2 buttons, 2 clicks of the mouse to leave that Discord and never look back. But it's such an interesting and unique aspect of the NFT world, where there are quite a few projects on the other side of that are just really great and helpful for people who may be going through some challenges in their life. So
Right.
okay, so you listed off a whole bunch of ones that, like, you
Yeah,
list as
that are all
important.
kind of like they're kind of like my 2 through 4 or 5 depending, and I feel like they kind of move around based on the project. I like to see a project with a clear roadmap, a clear plan of action, because I've seen some projects where they lay out their first, few months or whatever, and then it's very gray area after that.
Mm,
And you're like, but
mhm.
if you don't have a plan for the future, then are you planning for the future? Or are you planning to, leave this project behind and, we're investing in you and you're not and reinvesting in us as
Yeah,
holders. So
that's a great comment there. Yeah, roadmap is definitely huge up there as important. The utility. So what do you think of utility? What do you are you someone that is like, if it's just art and a visual aspect, you're out and you need it to have some sort of utility attached, or kind of share kind of what you think on utility?
so I feel like I'm probably more both. It's fine if it's art only. and I would buy something based on art only with no utility. Primarily because I've been in this space longer. And when I first got in the space, utility wasn't really a thing.
Right.
I mean, a lot of projects it wasn't about a utility at all. It was just about the art. It may have had the community aspect. It may have had other parts to it, but utility wasn't really a thing until, not all that long ago. And I honestly don't even know who was the first to bring utility into the space. But whoever did it, kudos, hats off to you, because I love the utility aspect, and I love all the different ideas that, all these different projects have. And I love seeing what new projects come up with, or, what even older projects add to their utility. Like, in fact, I was just having messages go back and forth with the Fame Lady Squad right there. And we were talking because I'm so excited. So I bought something yesterday, but I also bought something probably a month or so ago. So one of their, I mean, I guess it's not really utility, but it is kind of. But they have physical products that you can get with certain NFTs. So Fame Ladies did a project, or a co-project with Catharsis. And if you bought this certain NFT, on the NFT itself is really cool. It's like you're in a bar and it's got music playing. But then if you own that NFT, you could redeem it for a necklace.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's the Fame Lady lips with FLS. And so it's a necklace. And then I bought this thing yesterday for NFT NYC. It's a pendant, and it's a programmable pendant. So you can like scan that pendant and upload whatever information you want into it. So it could link to your website. It could link to, whatever social media channels, wherever it is you wanted it to link to. So I'm super excited about that. And I can't show it to you yet because I guess we're probably going to be able to pick those up at NFT NYC.
Cool.
So, but I just think that's something cool to bring the physical and the digital together.
Yes.
And I mean, I guess you would call that a utility, right?
Yeah, you get some perks
Yeah.
of merch, right? I mean,
Right.
I am assuming that I can't purchase the lips necklace without being a holder, right?
You could probably purchase it without being a Fame Lady holder. I don't
Oh,
know.
okay.
I don't know. I would have to go check because I have a couple of them. And I know I definitely had one. So I don't know if you had to confirm that that you're a Fame Lady holder in order to get that particular NFT. Because I bought it on the secondary market. I missed out on the mint of that just because. And this is one of those things that I wish there was a better way within the NFTs and different projects to be notified of what's happening on your favorite projects, besides going to your Discord every day, multiple times a day, looking at announcements for what's going on in the projects, because I can't tell you how many things I've missed because I don't have the time to spend all day in Discord following my favorite projects. And I have a lot of favorite projects. I mean, this is only a few of my projects that I'm involved in. So,
yeah. Yeah, interesting. Agreed on that aspect. I need more hours in my day to also keep up with all the awesome projects. But yes, okay. So we talked about art, we talked about mission, we talked about utility, roadmap, and community. A question I have for you, because I feel pretty strongly about this. Do you care whether celebrities or influencers are involved in the project at all?
that is a really good question. And my answer is it depends.
Okay, not helpful.
Honestly, I
Explain.
know, really not helpful. In some cases, I think it helps a project. In other cases, I really don't care. So there's certain projects. I mean, like Fame Lady Squad, Crypto Chicks, Women Tribe. I don't know of any celebrities necessarily that are involved in those projects, but I firmly believe in them.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's other projects. For example, we had this conversation the other day. I believe it was when we were talking with Somi, and we were talking about World of Women, WoW, and that like Madonna is a holder, and yet she doesn't have WoW as her profile pic on Twitter. She has a Bored Ape. And that kind of actually pisses me off because, like, if she's going to, I don't know, I guess I feel like when you think about her, you think about her as a kind of a feminist and a supporter of females. And I feel like if she's going to portray that, then she should be like promoting women led projects and not promoting Bored Apes that everybody knows about. And, you know, like it's a good old guys club. So that's why I say it depends. Like in some cases I care, and in other cases I could give a shit less.
Yeah. I think the Bored Ape has become a status symbol. And I
Mm-hmm.
would imagine if I'm her, which I'm not, but if I'm her, I'm thinking, and I'm choosing that option as my profile picture. I'm choosing it as like, hell yeah, I got a Bored Ape in my wallet, and this is my Bored
Right.
Ape, right?
But it's her, and like
I
she
know,
doesn't need
I know,
that.
I know, but I think people use it as a status symbol. I don't have one, so I don't know how I would feel about
Right.
having it as a profile picture.
I mean,
Um,
I think if I had one, yeah, I'd use it.
so how could we get mad at her for using it?
But I'm not Madonna.
True,
Right.
true. You're not wrong.
And also, you know, if I have a WoW Galaxy, which I do, and I actually am not using her as my PFP. I've been using my U chick. And why? Why do you think that is?
Because it resembles you.
Because I love her.
You love her. Yeah. Yeah.
And I love this one too. But I
Yeah.
don't have mint hair. I just call myself Minty Cell.
That's right. Yeah. I
So
feel I am I guess what's the term where you lose the wow factor? I don't know. I think the non intelligent way
nonplussed.
to the what?
You're nonplussed
Oh,
by
I've never heard
celebrities.
that. I don't know.
No.
I think the less eloquent way of saying it is like I am not impacted and not wowed by celebrities involvement. Unfortunately, I've been burned by celebrities involvement in projects. In fact, one project that I had minted into was Rich Kid's Official. So Rich Kid is a rapper. I thought, my gosh, this guy has millions of dollars to put behind this project. How could it not be successful? His audience is a generation that is probably going to be in or attracted to NFTs. So I'm like, how could this thing not go through the roof? He's a celebrity. He's got millions of followers. And I minted, and pretty much immediately the whole project went to zero, and now we can't hear from him. And so I think
Of course.
that is a siloed engagement here. I'm not saying that all celebrities will ghost their own projects, but to me, I was just like, oh yeah, we can't put a lot of weight into celebrities and their impact on projects, because there's been enough evidence that it could go nowhere, like this Rich Kid. And
Right.
so now I have
And
this Rich Kid who I don't even think is cute. He's got a dog, which I actually like the dog. That's my favorite aspect of this NFT. He's standing in front of the White House. He's doing 2 thumbs up. He's got like a money skateboard next to him. I'm just like, I don't want this thing, but I can't get rid of it. So I just and I also think that, like, I get the sense that celebrities put their name into a project and it was like, oh, I backed this thing up. And then they never, like, I bet you if I like ran into Rich Kid on the street and was like, hey, how's your NFT project? You'd be like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Like,
mm-hmm.
it's not part of their world. They've got bigger and better things to focus on. And so they're not putting a lot of time and energy into making this project a successful. What do they care? They
Right.
got millions of dollars off the mint, and they're like, what do I need to put?
Well, and that's what I was going to say. Like, and that is what you call a cash grab. They
Yeah.
put it out there. They probably made a couple mil
Yep.
from that launch. And then they're like, all right, cool. Walk away. See you later.
Yeah. They don't owe us
But then
anything. I
I
mean,
I do think that there's others in the space that are celebrities that are fully invested in the space. And of those, of course, they're chicks. They're, I mean, the ones that come top of mind are Mila
Mila
Kunis.
Kunis.
They're
Yep.
Eva
Gwen,
Longoria.
yep.
They're Reese Witherspoon. They're Gwyneth Paltrow. They're the ones that are doing things in the space, active in the space, consistently showing up. They're giving back
Mhm.
to communities. In fact, I saw something, I don't remember, I saw it on Twitter, and I know Eva was going to do like some sort of meetup or meeting, maybe at VCon with people. And like, I think that that's cool.
That is
I
cool.
think that those celebrities that are actually walking the walk and talking the talk are,
Yep.
I believe in those projects that they support. And one of those, of course, is my BFF. A
Right?
lot of
Yeah.
them are involved in
Got a
that, and
lot of, yeah.
that is one that I'm really bullish on right now. Is I love that project. I'm like, since the market's down, I keep going back and looking like, ooh, I could pick up another U, or should I get another bracelet? I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet, but like I said, I keep thinking about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Hmm.
just it's probably last on my list because,
Yeah.
it's just not something that's important to me. It's cool when I see, celebrities involved and who are actually doing something, but it's
Right.
just not gonna help dictate whether I actually invest in it or not. Um,
So, for my question for you is, what about charitable actions on a project? Where does that rank?
Yeah, so that is pretty high up there for me. I find that the charitable aspect has, some tie into the mission, right? If the mission is, to benefit the world in some way, it usually comes with a charitable aspect, like 10% of the proceeds go to X, foundation, or 20% of the proceeds. So, I find that because mission is so important to me, that it's inevitable that there's a charitable aspect to it. I don't, um I don't I wouldn't say it's a make or break. So if I'm really in love with the mission, I really like the art, I really like the roadmap and the utility. If it doesn't have a charitable aspect, I'm not going to totally discard it, but I'm also not going to invest in a project only because of the charitable aspect. So it depends. I think as long as it aligns with the mission and the roadmap and it makes sense and it's a mission, it's the charitable aspect is part of a mission that is meaningful to me, then I just think that's icing on the cake. And I love it because I think it's important to give back to the community if you have something to give back. Not everyone does, and that's okay. But if someone is in the position to give back to the community, there's a lot of incredible foundations and charities out there that are deserving of it. There are some that are not, but there are a lot that are, and that will put the money to good use. And so it makes me feel, like that much better about where I'm putting my dollars. But it's
Mhm.
not, like I said, not a total. It's definitely not a one or two, but it's up there, but not going to make or break. How about you?
It's funny for me. It can be important depending on the charity, the type. There are
Hmm.
certain things that I um, hold with much greater value,
Hmm.
depending, on the actual whatever charity it is they're giving to. And then there are others that I see, and when I see it's at like 5 to 10%, I'm like, oh, that's nice. You're just checking a box. So you get to say that you're donating to a charity. So if I see a project that is giving to a charity that is important to me and it's a reasonable percent, and that to me would be, I would say, at least 25% or greater. If it's below
Interesting.
that, then it to me is like, you're just doing that, you know, to say you're giving back, but you're
Yeah,
not
I
really.
totally get that checkbox feel. Like, it just feels like you're just checking, especially like a 5%. But I
Mhm.
also question, like, I mean, I don't know. I'm not looking at the finances of these projects, but I
Right.
question, like, I'm a firm believer that, like, pay yourself first, and especially the artists who have been so, I guess, like, in the
Agreed.
backside. So, like, maybe all they can afford is to give back, 10%. I don't
Right.
know.
But I guess part of me is if it looks to be like it's a big project, like I'm just pulling this out of, like, let's just say it was Wow, World of Women.
Yeah, yeah.
And they had like a 5%. I'd be like,
Yeah.
really? That's, I mean, we all know like you're a big project. You've brought in plenty of money. And I don't
Mhm.
even care necessarily if you say like it's 5% or if you were to put like a threshold on it. I feel like that could be better. Like if we hit
Mm.
these amounts, we'll give 500,000 or 1 million, or like put a number to it. Not, I don't know. I guess I don't like it when it feels like I said, that it's just a checkbox that you're trying to look like you're a charitable organization when you're really not. You're just,
Totally agree. Yeah, I totally
no.
agree with that. Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, so there's a couple other things. For me, I'm looking at our list here, and I see a couple things left. There's one other thing that we didn't put on here that I want to talk about. But so um between website, well, I feel like those could be separated. We have website, social presence, and project leadership. And of those, I think that website and project leadership somewhat go together, because like you're looking on their website for who it is leading the project. And I want to see like a decent website that you've actually put some time and thought and, into it.
Mhm.
I have seen some that I'm like, oh my God, this website is atrocious. And what were you thinking, when you put this out there?
Yeah. Yeah. I think,
Um,
yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, wanting to put some thought. You want the project team to have put that effort in. Um, I'm less concerned about website and social presence. I am more concerned about project leadership. Because I believe, and if anyone visits me on Twitter, um, you'll see that my pinned tweet is, let me read it because I think it's important here for this aspect. You're not just buying art, you're investing in an artist, a team, a passion, a story, a brand, a vision, a mission, and a roadmap. You're investing in a community, you're investing in the future. And the reason why I point that out is because you are investing in the artist and the team behind it. And if I'm going to give my hard earned dollars over to an artist and the team, I want to know who I'm giving the money to. And it, like we've talked about projects who the leadership team is doxed, or
mhm.
not doxed and hidden. I care about that. I want to know exactly where my dollars are going. I want to know that they are willing to put themselves out there and to be transparent about what they're doing, what their mission is, what their roadmap is as individuals along with the project. So
Right.
to me, project leadership is at one of my, maybe it's third or fourth on the list. I really care about who I'm investing in because I think it's a who, not just a what. I really believe that in the NFT space, it's a who, and that matters to me.
Agreed. I 100% agree. Um, Project leadership is definitely high up there. I don't know that, I guess, like having a track record of a
Hmm.
successful project, because I know we just talked about this. I believe it was in the news about,
Azuki.
oh my gosh, yeah, Azuki,
Azuki.
where they had three rug pulls,
I know,
and
I know. That's a perfect example, right? So this guy had basically abandoned three other projects, NFT projects, in the past, and then built the Suzuki, obviously with some other people and other investors in it. But like,
right,
what on earth would make me believe that I'm going to trust this guy? He's already ditched three others. Why is he not going to ditch this one, especially with the amount of dollars floating around in this in this project. It's a
Right.
lot of money. And it's hard. I
Yep.
mean, yeah, like I wouldn't touch that, you know. That's not the thing I'm looking for. I want to know that the person I'm investing in, the artist and the project manager, is someone who's got a good track record or no track record. I get that a lot of
Right.
artists are just starting
Right.
out.
You can have no track record and like a great amount of passion and desire to see the project be successful. So my last one that I really think about, and it's kind of the unknown, it's the X factor in a project. So it really could be anything that they're doing differently. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like who's got like the biggest X factor recently. I mean, I feel like there's so many different projects doing so many different things, but I love it when people are coming up with something that hasn't been done in the space before and implementing it. And it's just that unknown. Like, what can we do differently? How can we be different than what everybody else is doing in this space? So I think that's something to be on the lookout for.
Yeah, 100%. How would I even start there though? Like if it's an X factor, and you know, that's something you may not find out about a project until after it's launched.
True. So for example, like by BFF, like one of the things that they did was they announced the PFP project. They didn't tell anybody until I don't remember when exactly we found out, but if you were a bracelet holder and you minted the PFP, then it added a charm to your bracelet.
Mm.
And the more charms you have on that bracelet. So basically, I think they're going to do this every time they have a partner launch. So as a bracelet holder, you have the ability to get into whatever it is they're partnering with and purchase that. And so every time you do that, then you'll get another charm added to your bracelet. The more charms you have on your bracelet, the more that bracelet's going to be worth. So that to me is an X factor, because you're improving your original NFT and making it worth more while also investing in another project and, giving you that NFT.
Yeah, I love it. That's a perfect example of the X factor and a project thinking outside the box.
Right.
Very cool. Okay, so our list to recap of things that we look for: we've got art, we've got mission, utility, roadmap, community, website and social presence, project leadership, charitable aspects, influencer celebrity status, and the X factor, which I love that you threw that in there.
Yeah. Yep.
Very cool.
I think those cover it for the most part. I'm sure eventually someday we'll add to this list. I feel like just NFTs are always creating new things. And I have a feeling that eventually it'll be like, oh my gosh, now there's this that gets added to it. But for now, that's all I've got. I did want to say we got a pretty cool review from somebody, and I wanted to read it, and then I wanted to remind you that we love it when you leave us reviews on your favorite podcast player. So this person, Heather, former Hooter, sent us a review saying actually beginner friendly, which we love because that's who we're trying to talk to, is people that are just getting started in NFTs and crypto. She said, these ladies are actually covering the nuts and bolts you need to get confident with crypto and NFTs. Super approachable and infotaining. I love that. Thank you, Heather, former Hooter. And, as I said, just a reminder, please, 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 we would love it if you would go leave us a review. Ideally, it's a 5-star review, unless, you feel like we need a 4-star.
Hopefully but if it is a 4-star, let us know what we can be doing differently.
Yeah,
we want to know.
True.
Yeah, for sure.
True. Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to the NiFTy Chicks. Always remember, invest in yourself. You are worth it. Please listen carefully to the following disclaimer. Neither the host nor the guests of the Nifty Chicks podcast are acting in the capacity of financial advisors. We wish to remain transparent and impartial to the NFT community at all times, and therefore, the content provided by the Nifty Chicks hosts and guests are intended for general information purposes only. Nothing written or discussed by the Nifty Chicks hosts and guests should be construed or relied upon as investment, financial, legal, regulatory, accounting, tax, or similar advice. Nothing should be interpreted as a solicitation to invest in any cryptocurrency or NFT, and nothing herein should be construed as a recommendation to engage in any investment strategy or transaction. Please be advised that it is in your own best interest to consult with investment, legal, tax, or similar professionals regarding any specific situation and any prospective transaction decisions. You must do your own research when considering investing in cryptocurrencies or NFTs. We are simply sharing our journey with you as we learn more about the world of NFTs. Happy minting.